Hey guys, welcome to the Great Outdoors RV. My name is Mate, and today we're going to go a little bit more in depth on batteries. So batteries are the heart of a camper because they run everything. They can run everything from power awnings, slide outs, stab jacks, lights, even some of your 110 appliances like your fridge and your furnace and your, you name it. All those things sometimes have a combo where they need propane and battery or 110 power and battery. So we're going to go through what kind of battery you need and how to maintain those batteries and everything about batteries and campers.
I could be the one who saved you from this hard place. We could be as one and we'll escape. We could run away, we don't gotta stay. I can feel it, it burns inside me. Take away the pain, we can go insane. I can feel it, it burns inside me. We could run away, we don't gotta stay. I can feel it, it burns inside me. Take away the pain, we can go insane. Trust me, I won't let you down.
All right, we have Rick with Interstate Battery. Thanks for joining us here.
Good to see you.
So we have a few questions about batteries and what is the different types of batteries? What should we look at for RV use?
Okay, so typically you have about 4 different varieties of batteries. One, lead acid batteries, fluid filled. Obviously there's sulfuric acid in there that is spillable, but then you've got AGM, which is absorbed glass mat. There'll be no fluid inside of them. You're typically going to have higher run capacities, but your costs are going to be higher. Gel cell batteries are very similar to AGM. They're hard to find. And then the last is obviously lithium ion, which is a new coming technology that they're still trying to perfect, and so you don't see them hardly anywhere, but they are available.
Okay. So the best option out of all those 4 options, is there one that stands out above the rest of what people should be using?
In a typical application, just the regular lead acid battery is going to be your best option because they're going to cost you half the price. They're going to have, I mean, they're a proven technology that's been around for 150 years. Yeah. So everybody knows that for the money, this is going to be your best option. Yeah. Now, a lot of guys have typical situations where they're going to be off-roading a lot and they want that lack of ability to spill acid, so yeah, I would recommend going with AGM there. Okay. But it's going to depend. I mean, if you're not really beating your camper up, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Okay. So I would stick with the typical wet cell battery because they're easy to maintain. You can't maintain AGM in gel batteries. There's just nothing you can do if something goes wrong with those batteries. These, you have some options. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep. So what kind of maintenance stuff do you need? We have guys that they'll have a camper that they'll bring in their battery and it's only a year old and it's done. And then other guys, they said, oh yeah, this battery lasts me 5 years. What's the difference?
But you know, it's all dependent upon the person and how well they've kept up in checking fluids and if they've let them run down enough times. You know, that one guy that lasts a year, he could have gone camping 20 times, and the guy that made him last 5 years only went camping 2 or 3 times a year. Yeah. So it depends on run times. There's a lot of different situations there that could cause that. One major thing is to make sure that there's a fluid in your batteries. Okay. So they are all maintenance free technically, but you do have the option to take the cap off and check the fluid levels. Okay. So we recommend that you keep your fluid levels at least a ½ inch below the bottom of the inside of the cap. And you can use distilled water, or you can buy sulfuric acid from like a parts warehouse and refill the batteries. And we don't recommend using normal tap water because there are a lot of different variants that could be introduced in the water that could cause plating problems and corrosion and that kind of stuff. So that's why they recommend distilled. Okay.
What other things that I need to do to make sure that the batteries stay maintained and last as long as possible?
So make sure that during the winter when you're not using that camper that those batteries stay charged. Okay. If you let them go to 50%, the sulfuric acid turns into water and water freezes and they'll bulge out and they'll crack and they'll break.
And then all those plates are done for.
And then all the plates will separate and they're done.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Once you freeze a battery, your odds of bringing it back are slim to none.
How cold can I let a battery get if it's charged
There's not a temperature that we have seen that in a camper, if it's fully charged, where they freeze. So as long as they're fully charged, sulfuric acid will not freeze
Okay.
in an everyday situation.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then the third factor obviously is to make sure when you're deep cycling your batteries, to make sure you have the appropriate amperages available
Okay.
for your usage. So if you're going weekend camping, you're going to want lower amperage ratings on your batteries, because then you'll be able to deep cycle them to the correct rate. When you're done, come back and recharge them. So you want to discharge your batteries to about 50% and then recharge them. So if you have two 6-volt batteries with high amperages and you're only using about 10% of their capacity,
Okay.
you're going to shorten the life of your batteries because you're not using them to their full capability.
Gotcha. So they kind of develop a memory after a while, and so that's why you want to
Yes.
fully discharge and fully recharge.
Yes.
To keep that going.
Yep, exactly.
So Rick, what about 12 volt versus 6 volt? What should people consider doing? How many batteries should they have on their camper? What's reasonable?
Sure, no, that's all going to depend on the size of the camper.
Let's say I have a 30-foot camper with a slide out on it and maybe 10 lights inside. It has power awning.
Sure.
Something like that.
So typically in that situation, that's a decently sized camper.
Okay.
I would recommend at the very least going with two 12 volts.
Okay.
Because that's going to give you enough power to run the slide in and run the awning and that kind of thing in a short weekend type situation.
Okay.
If you're a camper that likes to go out and you're not near power and you're going to go for an entire week in that same size camper, you would want to probably go with a 6-volt battery. Or extra 12-volt batteries, because you're going to get that extra amperage. So if
Okay.
you go with a 6-volt, you're going to get about twice the amperage that you would with a single 12-volt.
Twice the amperage.
Twice the amperage. So you're going down in volts, but you're jumping up in amperage.
Gotcha. So 2 6 volts versus 2 12 volts. What's the power difference between those two?
So with two 6-volts, you're going to have about 450 reserve minutes in two 6-volts, whereas with two standard Group 24s, you're only going to have about 240 or 280.
280. So
Yep.
there's a big difference.
Big difference.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it depends on the camper and depends on your camping style, but typically in like a 30-foot camper with slide outs, you're at least going to want to have two 12-volt batteries in there to cover usage over a weekend.
Gotcha. So tell me about precautions. Anything I need to know about? I know there's battery boxes and venting. Tell me why that's important.
So in a lead acid battery, naturally, they are sitting here venting right now.
Okay.
So sulfuric acid, as it
Do I need to
warms,
get my gas mask right now? Or? No, okay.
Goodness. So they vent,
Yeah.
which means that they're producing hydrogen gas.
Yeah.
So as the sulfuric acid dissipates in charge, it releases hydrogen gas, and then the sulfur attaches to the plates.
Okay.
So the hydrogen gas naturally comes out vents in the caps. So you want to be careful, especially if you're going to go and charge these batteries, because you can cause a spark, and hydrogen gas is extremely explosive.
Oh,
So if you've ever seen a camper come in and they've had their battery burst open,
Yeah.
it's probably because they've got that battery really warm,
Yeah.
and it created a very large amount of hydrogen gas in their battery box, and some sort of spark ignited it.
wow.
And
Okay.
and it can be very dangerous, but it's very avoidable too.
Yeah.
So again, like I said, check your fluid levels and make sure that your plating is not exposed in your battery, because that is the point at which you create the ability for electrical spark to happen in the top of the batteries, and that's where the hydrogen gas
See,
sits.
that totally incentivized me to check that level. I'm like,
Check.
it'll be fine. The battery won't work. No, but it could blow up if you don't have the right
Please
amount
check your
of
fluid levels.
fluid. Now, if I only have tap water and I don't have distilled water and I'm in that situation and I see my plates, what do I do?
Put it in.
Go for it?
It's better safe than sorry.
Gotcha.
You don't want those exploding, because sulfuric acid can cause extreme eye damage. It can burn your skin. It's really dangerous. So when you're checking these,
Yeah.
wear safety glasses and rubber gloves, because trust me, I know, working in the battery world every day, it gets on your skin and it doesn't feel good. So
Gotcha. Absolutely. Hey, now I know this might be a slightly biased question to ask you, but tell me a little bit about interstate batteries versus the competition. Why should people consider interstate batteries?
Okay. Well, Interstate has been around for well over 65 years. We were proven in our technology. We've got different plating technologies, different acid compositions that we used that other companies don't.
Okay.
However, that may just be for our batteries, but what makes us outstanding, number one, is our service. We have battery delivery to every county in every state in the United States every single day if they need it. So
okay.
it doesn't matter where you are. If you have an issue, you can find an interstate battery dealer nearby that can take care of you.
Even if you didn't buy the interstate battery from that spot.
Yep, our warranty covers you nationwide.
That's great.
Yep, and even into Canada. So,
all right,
yeah.
then,
So yeah, that's our number one thing that makes us stand out from other companies, is that we're everywhere, and we're really, our main focus is to make sure our customers are taken care of.
Cool. Well, Rick, thanks, man, for taking the time
Thank
to
you guys.
explain all this.
Nice to be here.
Battery mumbo jumbo. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I see this guy at least once a week, every other week. I can always ask him, and we'll comment below and answer your questions that way. You can also reach us at thegreatoutdoorsrv.com, and to check out all of our other service and parts videos, you can also call us at 970-313-4337. Okay, to recap, 6 volts are a great way to go. 2, make sure that you keep distilled water in your batteries so that they don't explode and so that they have a long life. 3, make sure that the battery is charged to the fullest amount while it's in storage so you don't freeze it. And 4, make sure that you are not discharging it below 50%. All right, guys, thanks for joining me on this battery video. Feel free to hit the like button, that helps me out. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. I'll answer them that way. Also, you can go to our website, thegreatoutdoorsrv.com, or give us a call, 970-313-4337. All right, have a great day. Bye, guys.
I could be the one who saved you from this hard place. We could be as one and we'll escape. We could run away, we don't gotta stay. I can feel it in